Almeria are currently having one of the worst seasons in Spanish football history. They haven't won a game all season, and with just 7 draws, they only have 7 points in the table. And with just 14 games remaining, they are 13 points from relegation safety. It's going to take a minor miracle for them to avoid going down. And they are already record breakers in the worst way possible. They currently have a joint record of 27 games without a win in the league. And this streak is active, so if they don't win their next game, they break the record, and they are a fair chance of getting the least points in La Liga history. 13 is the goal. If anybody needed a rebuild, it's Almeria. Let's go step in and save them. So as we load up FC, this is the default starting 11 we have here with Almeria. A few players that we definitely recognize. You've got Robertone, you've got Suarez on the bench. They've got a decent little core of players, but it is just not working for them on the pitch. Let's get into the transfer market, make some signings, and survive relegation. Our first signing is into the club. We've got an Argentinian-only midfield combo now. Federico Redondo joining us here. The Argentine signing for £7 million. Him and Robertone in the midfield are going to be loving life. Someone that's going to have to enjoy life elsewhere, though, is Adrian and Barba, as the Spaniard is joining Getafe. The clean-out continues, though. Alex Pozo off to Cadiz. I'm just trying to get as much money in from our mid-range players to get some big signings this year. And this right here should indicate where we're going to be looking next for an upgrade. It is going to be the right mid-role as we sell the 30-year-old Leo Baptista out to Mallorca. Getting rid of a Brazilian at the right midfield role and replacing him with a Brazilian. It is Matthias Tete. I am very excited about this one. We get the Brazilian here for £12.9 million from Galatasaray. Again, we go now and we have 2 Argentinians in the center midfield role, and now we have a Brazilian in the left midfield and the right midfield role. I'm really trying to scratch my brain today. So many players I want to loan out on this squad. The one good thing is we have a lot of young players in this team, which I want to get the most out of. First one on the way. Second one on the way here in Ramazani. Rashad off to Leganes. And I purposefully accepted a 2-year loan move here for Lopi to go to Brighton specifically, because knowing Brighton's track record, this dude's going to probably come back as prime N'Golo Kante. But wait, there's more. Kaiki, the stud young defender, off to Vallecano. And our attacking midfielder, Sergio Arribas, off to Sociedad for the year. The budget has been stretched to its breaking point for this window, but we get ourselves an attacking midfielder, Nico Melamad, coming back up here to the top flight, joining us from Espanyol. So this is our lineup after the opening window, and the vision, the goal is clear. Just don't get relegated. Do not get relegated, lads. And step 1 to doing that, we need to win a game. We've done the impossible. 4 wins in the first half of the season, but we are still in the relegation battle. 14 points, a draw will get us up to 15th. This is so much more manageable than I was worried it would be, but we need to pull ourselves up and get out of this relegation zone. Our budget isn't the most insane in the world. We don't have money to go out there and buy a crazy player here in January, but I'm going to get some depth here on the bench. Hopefully give us a punch off the bench and get us a few goals. Alejandro Zendaya, an American right midfielder, can also play left mid. We're going to sign him here from free agency. I am praying. EAFC gods, please make that enough. It is the final day of the season. We are currently in safety. We sit 3 points ahead of Osasuna. A draw keeps us in La Liga. And we're facing 17th placed Cadiz. Will we survive relegation here with Almeria at the Power Horse Stadium, which is an awesome name, on the final day of the season? It is a draw. Negredo gets a goal there at the end at the death for Cadiz. That might have honestly just kept them up in the league as well. And it did, because Osasuna got a draw as well. They have a better goal differential than Cadiz. So that 89th minute winner there, or goal equalizer for Alvaro Negredo, kept Cadiz up in La Liga as well. Scrolling up the table here though, and the champions of La Liga are Real Madrid for the millionth time. Real Madrid take down Espanyol to win Copa de España. We actually made it to the quarterfinals of that competition. Man United win a Manchester derby here for the Champions League. Liverpool keep the English dominance alive. And it is 3 from 3. Aston Villa, Conference League champions. Luis Suarez was our savior this season. 15 goals. A great year here though from Lazaro. Really wanted to turn him into a superstar, and he's well and truly on track. I mean, if you saw the Luton Town career mode we did earlier in EAFC, you would know how good Lazaro can be. Losing a few players this year though. Luis Maximiano's loan spell ends. Barba's loan spell ends, and Antonio Jesus, I couldn't re-sign him. I was going to transfer list him, but he's off on a free. We are going to be getting some money in to start next year though, as Alex Centellas, his release clause was activated. 8.7 million pounds for him. I did not expect Fenerbahce to activate that. We survived season 1. Brilliant. That's all we wanted. Now let's build and get ourselves as far away from this relegation battle as possible. Beginning season 2 with a player departure. It is going to be Mendes off to Granada for 1.6 mil, but this one piqued Lucho's interest. There it is, Lucho. We got Luis Maximiano back into the club on a permanent deal. He was so impressive last year. We built the foundations and we signed him for 20 mil. Continuing to cash in on some of the older and deadwood players now. It is Gonzalo Melero out of the club off to Valencia. Personally, I wanted to keep Fernando as a backup goalkeeper. 78 overall. Wasn't going to get that much money for him, but he desperately wanted to transfer out of the club. I didn't want morale to go down the toilet, so we've sold him for 2 mil. And another year of loan moves is underway. Couldn't get a loan move for Marko Milovanovic last year, but this year we have. And we get another loan move here for Martin Widerski. Back to the permanent transfers. Another player that we've sent to Mallorca. I'm sending all these guys on holiday to Mallorca, but Ibrahim Kone off there on a permanent. Sergio Arribas, another loan move for him. But we get the deal over the line. I was debating whether I wanted to do this, and I think now is the right time. But we're going to go in for a new left back. Sergio Akime off to Villarreal. I mean, that is 3 mil over his market value, so I'll take it. And we needed somebody who turned heads. This is a massive signing. If this happened in real life, the heads they would turn. Miguel Gutierrez, his value goes up as we sign him, but the Spanish defender joining us here from Girona for 28.8 million pounds. Big season ahead, fellas. I'm hoping we can get a lot of this starting 11 into the 80s marker if they aren't there already. But most importantly, I do not want us to enter the relegation battle. I don't know if we're quite there yet, but I want our mentality to be Conference League or Europa League, not relegation zone. I'm also a little nervous. We didn't get a single loan offer here for Ramazani. I need to manage his game time so that he doesn't request a transfer, because we need to harness his potential. This is perfect. All right, this is exactly what we're after. 26 points. We sit in 9th here with Almeria. We've got some work, a little bit of work if we want to push up towards the European football spots, but it is going to be not impossible, but it's going to be a massive choke job if we find ourselves in the relegation zone. 10 points clear of the relegation zone. You love to see it. Things you also love to see, I managed to get a loan move here for Ramazani, so he's off to Bilbao. I did not have us finishing above Barcelona this season on my bingo card. Europa League. We're in the Europa League next year, lads. That is great. All right, I need to start I seem to be smashing my expectations. Next year, we're going to go win the La Liga. Let's make that as our ambitious goal. Second season syndrome fears us though. 6th in La Liga. Atletico Madrid win the league. But as we scroll down, the relegation zone sees Levante, Alaves, and Granada all heading down. I was hoping we might have gone on a run in Copa de España, but unfortunately Real Madrid win that. We didn't make the semis, we didn't make the quarters, so we've done worse in that tournament than we did last year. We go out in the round of 32. Champions League goes to Juve. Barcelona win the Europa League. That probably understands. It makes sense why they did worse in the league, so they're going to be playing Champions League next year, despite finishing 7th. And Hoffenheim win the Conference League. But who was our hero on the pitch? Matthias Tete. Thank you very much, my man. 19 goals, 5 assists, up to an 83. Suarez into the 80s now, 13 and 5. And Lazaro into the 80s as well as 9 is 4. Good loan spell there for Milovanovic. I mean, all of our loan guys seem to be doing pretty decently. We will be in search of a new goalkeeper next year though, lads. As a backup goalkeeper, Diego Moreno is on. Climbing up the table and qualifying for European football has its perks, ladies and gentlemen. 84 million pounds in our budget. 2 years ago, we were operating with 15 million. This has been a nice turnaround. And we need to use this money to try getting ourselves as high up the table and as going deep as possible in the Europa League as possible. possible. And we're jumping right into action, spending over half of our transfer budget here to get a star centre-back into the club. Fresh off of winning the African Cup of Nations, it is Kasunu, the Ivorian centre-half, joining us from Wolverhampton for £44.7 million. First loan of the year comes in, Marcos Peña off to Utrecht. Some of you probably saw this deal coming, but it is time to say goodbye to Edgar. We sent him from one Australian manager to another in Ange Postecoglou as he makes the move to Tottenham. Kaiki's back from his 2-year loans and immediately off again. This year for just 1 year to Atalanta. And the surprise packet of last year, Marko Milovanovic off on another loan. See if he can strike twice. Girona definitely hate us. We now have their former left back and their former right back here. We have Arnal Martinez linking back up with Miguel Gutierrez, and the Spanish defense gets stronger and stronger. I look like I've ridiculously overpaid for him, but his value dropped off the second we signed him, which is a little disrespectful if you ask me. I did almost forget that we needed to go in and get ourselves a backup goalkeeper. So we're going to get ourselves Antonio Gomez here, the Spanish goalkeeper, getting a second chance in football. We sign him off the free agents list as a prospect goalkeeper. This season is a massive step up for us. The team is looking really good, really balanced, which is what I want to see. Players like Redondo need a massive year though, but I'm hoping the occasion and the fixtures aren't too much for us. Also, Tete injured, but it's only for 8 days. Thank the Lord for that. If he was out for the season or something, I would be crying. But I'm putting a massive target on a hopeful deep Europa League run this year. I want to see how we stack up in European competition. We're in the group stages: Hoffenheim, Hearts, Shamrock Rovers. Let's get out of this group and let's see if the pipe dream of qualifying for the Champions League either through the Europa League or La Liga can happen. That is brutal. We get 13 points in basically every competition where there's a group stage. 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss will top the group. But Hoffenheim have had a sensational time around, and that means we're in the preliminary round. We've got Dynamo Kiev, but the dream for the Europa League stays alive. And the dream of qualifying for the Champions League is well and truly alive as well, ladies and gentlemen. 4th in La Liga. Our progress in this series, in this rebuild, has astonished me. Barcelona pushing for an invincible season though. Curious whether that happens. They got my hopes up. My hopes were up, lads. But we have finished and we've dropped out. We've had a pretty piss poor second half of the season, not gonna lie. 7th in La Liga with Almeria. Our only hope of Champions League football for next year is if we won the Europa League. But I've purposely hidden Barcelona's results. Did they go invincible? They got 1 loss. Barcelona, 1 loss away from an invincible season. Relegation zone in La Liga will see Las Palmas, Osasuna, and Cadiz going down. Villarreal win Copa de España. Our first season really looks like it was a bit of a fluke. Bayern Munich win the Champions League, but how did we end up in the Europa? So of course we got second in the group. Preliminary, we went out. Wow, we were never in the chance. We were never in with a chance of winning the Europa League. Preliminary round. So it looks like next year we might be back in the Europa, but I think we're going to be in the Conference League. Hugely disappointing to not be playing Champions League next year. Another quality season though for Luis Suarez. He has just been Mr. Consistent for us this whole video. Tete up to an 85, Lazaro up to an 84. At least the progress is still there. But man, we need to lock in now. There is no excuse now for us to not be getting Champions League footy. The team is good on paper. Let's make it happen on the pitch. 4 years in, we need to be cutthroat. We need superstar players. Ezequiel Palacios continuing the trend of Argentines in our midfield, but this guy is a superstar. And Ezequiel Palacios joining us here from Inter Milan. He's been so quality for us in this rebuild so far. If we were a little further down the line and we had more money, I would want to keep Cesar Montes as a backup defender, but unfortunately we don't have 80 million like last year, so we are selling him to Brighton for 29.5 million. Another 4 million pounds into the club. Arnal Puimal off to Getafe. I definitely expected a lot more out of Federico Redondo. I thought by now he would be in the low to mid 80s, but unfortunately 78 overall. His potential is starting to go down. He's only 23 years of age. There is time for him to still turn it around, but unfortunately, we don't have the time to be patient. Plus, with Dion Lopey coming back from Brighton and developing into a pretty decent center midfielder, I'm hopeful that we have the reserves to cover him. So many of the combos are genuinely on fire here. We create another combo. Both of our defenders from the Ivory Coast, Wilfred Singo joining us here for £33 million from AS Monaco. The big thing that I love about this rebuild so far is the consistency of our squad. Everybody within a 4 overall range, between 82 and 86 overall. Last year it was a hope. This year it is a demand. We need Champions League football. We need to qualify for the Champions League, because I genuinely think we could win the Champions League within the next 2 or 3 years. As soon as players start to hit the mid-80s, that's when you become a proper contender. So we are in the Europa League again this year. I thought it would be either the Europa League or the Conference League. This group, so much easier than last year. Although Dinamo Kiev, the side that eliminated us, is in the group, so we need to finish top of the group. I don't want to go out in the preliminary round. I think we have the squad to go all the way in the Europa League. We're very familiar with this position. We're third in La Liga. We're around about where we were last year, but instead of going down, sliding down the table like we did last year, we need to push up. We are genuine contenders to win the league this year, especially while Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid are a little bit behind. We are genuine contenders. That is a relief. All right, the Europa League dream is still alive. Undefeated in the group stage, and we don't have to deal with the preliminary round, which is a nice touch. We got manager of the month as well. We are having a really good one, aren't we? Unfortunately, Lazaro has copped an injury, which means he's going to be on the sidelines for the next month. So I've gone out and signed ourselves a backup left midfielder who's going to come in now. Juan Cruz from Betis. I mean, he can play left mid, attacking midfield, and right mid. So real utility in our midfield depth. Champions League bound in season number 5. Get in there. Come on, Almeria. 24 wins. That's a far cry from how they're going in real life. Second in La Liga. Barcelona go back to back. They are just a different level at this point. But the thing that makes me quite happy is we finished pretty far ahead of the teams below us. Scrolling down the table though, relegation zone. So happy to be so far away from that. Espanyol, Granada, and Elche. Kind of mental how the two teams in Barcelona are at complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Espanyol coming last and Barca coming first. We do add the first trophy to our cabinet. Oh, get in there. We are going to win Copa de España, winning against Eibar on pens. We took down Zaragoza, Cadiz. All right, we've had a pretty easy run to the final. Sociedad win the Champions League. Oh my God. So, of course, we make it out of the preliminary round of 16. Oh, we have blown a 1-0 lead and lost 3-0 to Marseille in the second leg. Marseille end up going on and winning the Europa League, which makes me feel a little bit better. But round of 16 is not what we wanted at all. Napoli have won the Conference League. Mateus Tete, take a bow, my friend. The Brazilian, 26 goals, 14 assists, 88 overall. He could genuinely be nominated for a Ballon d'Or next year. Another quality side here for Luis Suarez, 23 and 3 up to an 85. Lazaro up to an 86. Things are going quite well right now. And I think we've done a pretty good job at not letting any big name players walk past season 1. No players leaving this year, but a lot of contracts to extend. Finally, Champions League bound here for season number 5. Let's see what we can do. This is not the news we wanted into this year. Luis Suarez wants out. He doesn't think we can win Champions League, and he wants the title for himself. He wants trophies, and that's just insulting. So if we get rid of him, we need to cash in. We need the big money to get an upgrade. For the time being though, we are focusing on improving this squad where we need it right now. And we are getting one of Spain's best young prospects. Well, young currently, but in game, 5 years down the line, he is one of the world's best center midfielders. Gabri Veiga making his return to European and Spanish football. We have signed him from Al Ahly here. 89 rated, 25 years of age. That is a big pickup. One thing I want to make sure of though, if we are going to sell Luis Suarez, I am not selling him to another Spanish club. Not a chance. If he wants to go to the Saudi League, or he wants to go link up in MLS, or even the A-League outside of Europe where we won't have to worry about him, that would be fine with me. This will do. This is okay with me. We've sold him to Benfica. Luis Suarez Suarez. We cash in just like we said we wanted to, just shy of 78 million pounds. Would I rather have him stay on our team? Yeah, but am I going to try getting a huge upgrade now with this money? You bet ya. We've bagged ourselves not only an upgrade, but a bargain in the process. Julian Alvarez is joining us from Bayer Leverkusen, 62.8 million pounds. He had 12 months remaining on his contract, and that is my favorite situation, a cut price deal. We continue our Argentinian trend, although this year it's striker, not in the midfield, but Julian Alvarez, officially our star striker now at Almeria. And with the leftover money in our budget, we are going to get ourselves an upgraded backup striker. It is going to be Breel Embolo, a career mode wonder kid, a former career mode wonder kid, a career mode legend. Breel Embolo joining us here for 14.9 million pounds from Wolfsburg. I'm excited for this year. I am so excited for this year. Look how good this team is. 85s across the board, 89 rated Vega and Alvarez are so good for us. And then the reserves as well, the bench and the reserves. We have got so much depth at just about every position in this team. Let's go see if we can complete the rebuild here in season number 5. The first objective though is to get out of our Champions League group. Roma, Stade Rennais, and Rangers. We've got all the R's, undefeated in the Champions League. What a way to announce ourselves. We are through. What a weird ass group. Roma comes second with 1 win, 5 draws, and 0 losses. That is hilarious. But we are in to the Champions League round of 16, undefeated, and we are versing FC Porto. I'm glad it's that Portuguese side, not Benfica. Hopefully there can be a few upsets in these knockout rounds and we could have a decent path to the final. But assuming we don't win a Champions League this year, we need to make sure we re-qualify. I want to win the league. We are first in La Liga. We only had 1 loss in the entire first half of the season. That is a good way to start the year. It's been an incredible year so far, but we need to take it 1 game at a time. Porto on the road. Let's just take it 1 game at a time, get a strong win here to take back to Spain. First leg is a 1-0 win. That is not comfortable, but we get it done here. Ramazani, the Belgian midfielder, coming off the bench and giving us a narrow lead to leave Portugal with. That is a real smash and grab. The Powerhorse Stadium, we have a 1-0 lead. I'm starting to get real flashbacks though, lads, to last year's Europa League. We were 1-0 up heading into the second leg against Marseille, which we lost 3-0. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. We don't do that. We get one style of 3-0, but that's 3-0 on aggregate. Off to the quarterfinals we go. It is a replay from the Champions League group stages. Roma only had 1 win the entire group stages, 5 draws. Who do they beat? They beat Spurs on penalties. Both of those games were draws as well. 2 all on aggregate, 1 all in the second leg. That means Roma's had 7 draws and 1 win in the Champions League so far. And now we have to try facing them. Celtic through as well here after taking down Napoli. But, oh my God, are they going to bait us into more draws? If I'm a betting man, I'm putting my life savings on a draw in this game. Roma, first leg in Rome, and it is a 2-0 win. Probably could have been 3-0 if Alvarez scored the pen. All right, that's good. Roma, that's their first loss of the Champions League season. We're still undefeated, but we need to get the job done in the second leg. If Roma want to go out and get a draw in this game, that's fine by me. I just want no injuries, no suspensions, and a path to the quarterfinal, the semifinals, which we do. It's a draw. We get no injuries, no suspensions, just as we drew it up. Semi-final bound with Almeria. Interesting. We've got Celtic in the semi-finals. Celtic beat Bayern Munich on penalties. Right, okay. We've got Celtic here. 2 Cinderella stories. Almeria versus Celtic, and then Barca versus Inter Milan. It's the old guard and the new guard, although I guess Celtic have been historically a great club. But regardless, we've got Celtic in the Champions League semis. A fairy tale run needs to end here, and I sure as hell don't intend on it being ours. We're at home for the first leg here for the first time in this season. Come on, Almeria. Build the foundations for the second leg. It is a 4-2 scoreline. No injuries, no suspensions, and a 2-goal lead to take to Glasgow. Traveling to Glasgow here, one of my favorite cities that I've personally been to. Traveling to the world famous Celtic Park. Are we going to get ourselves through to a Champions League final. A 2-goal lead. Do not bottle it. A 2-goal advantage is the most dangerous lead in football. And it doesn't matter. It's a draw. I'm hoping Singo's not suspended, but we get a second leg draw and we're facing either Barca or Inter in a Champions League final. Come on, Almeria. And their semi-final hangs in the balance, 1-1. We're going to find out soon. And there is no suspension for Singo either. You'll love to see it. Inter did win on penalties. A lot of draws this season, I feel like. Taking a look around the grounds though, Wolfsburg win the Europa. Benfica win the Conference League. We give them Luis Suarez. He goes and wins a Europa League, a Conference League rather. Oh my God. What is that? What is that? Oh, the pressure has been turned up to 1,000,000 right now. If we don't win the Champions League final tonight, we're not playing Champions League football next year. We have finished 5th. How have we choked it so hard? We did win Supercopa though, so there is some trophies next to our name. But Real Madrid win Copa de España. We lost to Real Madrid in the quarters. 23 goals this year for Julian Alvarez. I cannot wait to use him. Tete though has been the star of the show. I was already intending on being fully focused for this Champions League final, but knowing that this is our last opportunity to win until at least season 7 has got me focused to the max. Let's get in there, put on a demolition job and win a Champions League title with La Liga's worst team. Some could say it's a home ground advantage. We're in the country of Spain looking to make a Spanish club Champions League winners. This Inter Milan side looks absolutely stacked though, so we're gonna have to be on top of our game. Oh, we've been caught on the trying to make a tackle too much. Good save, Maximiano. Drawn them in. Nice ball there to Tete. Tete, I'm driving it to the line. Holding it up. Nice drag back. Nice ball. I need a good shooting opportunity, though. We're going to go. Vega, I had the opportunity. Oh, we took a deflection, but I should have shot first time. Come on, lads, get saying. Maybe just the long shot laid off. First time shot straight at the defender. Tete, we've got the opportunity to play it back. Good ball off the weak foot. Yes. Drawn pass. Alvarez. Get the follow-up, lads. Vega, no. Come on, let's get him on the counter. Giving it here to Tete. He's got some space. Defender caught in 2 minds. Tete's just sprinting. They don't have the pace. I'm going to sweaty goal it. No, I should have just gone for it. Oh my God, now they're going to get us on the counter. I got to meet him. I got to meet him. Oh, he puts it wide. Thank God it's a left back. Good touch. Good ball. That's a lucky bounce. Lazaro, just go for it yourself, Jared. Oh my. What are we doing? Alvarez, nice ball, Lazaro. Come on, Jared. 87th minute. We've got the pace with Lazaro. We don't have the options. Just go for it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It took a deflection off the defender and just rolled past them. And it's our captain, Lazaro. The weirdest Champions League final ever. Like, I tried to curl this into the bottom right corner. The defender makes the tackle, and that's what makes it roll the other way. Like, look at that. Off of the foot of, what, Bastoni, whoever that is, and into the back of the net. That honestly might go down as an own goal. And there it is, lads. Oh, that is such a weird game, but we have done it. Almeria, 0 wins in La Liga this season, but 1 win in a Champions League final. He was the hero in the final. He's been here since day dot, and it is going to be the Brazilian captain Lazaro to lift a Champions League title with Almeria. Lads, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you click here to subscribe and click here if you want to see me win the Champions League with England's worst team.